I know very little about Ethel. What I do know is that she was the first woman accountant in England. I think she was probably a very phenomenal woman to get to that place. I wonder what her life was like, what that journey was like, and what the experience brought to her and her family. So yeah, I'm really interested to find out more. I'm starting my journey at the London School of Economics, where Simon Pearce, a writer who's been researching Ethel's life, is keen to take me through some of her letters and papers.
This is a certificate when she actually became a chartered accountant.
Okay.
By examination. In Ethel's case, she'd actually passed the exams, the first woman in England to do so.
I'm just looking at the dates. It's 6th of February, 1924. Wow. Ethel clearly was a pioneer. She blazed a trail that other people could follow, but her achievement is even more remarkable given she grew up at a time when the barriers for women were enormous.
Women, when it came to work, they were at a very serious disadvantage. No pretense of a level playing field, particularly if you came from a working class background as Ethel did. Ethel came from a humble family, and her father was killed in a road accident when she was a girl, which must have been absolutely disastrous for the family income. And yet, by the age of 18, she'd won a place at university. Then 1919, she's one of only 5 women training to be a chartered accountant. She becomes the first normally qualified chartered accountant in 1924. Then a few years later, she's setting up her own firm, and only a handful of women were doing it. So this is one breaking of a barrier after another. Somebody has to be first. It's a very, very lonely thing and requires enormous determination.
Ethel was evidently a determined woman, but she couldn't have achieved what she did without the support of some of the more enlightened men of the age. Sir William Peat, the P in KPMG, played an instrumental role in helping to remove the legal barriers for women entering the profession. And his son, Sir Harry Peat, offered Ethel her first job at Peat, Marwick, Mitchell & Co. She went on to have an illustrious career, becoming a passionate advocate for women's rights, both within and outside of her profession.
Her passion was, I think, full equality for women.
Okay.
She used the tools that she won through accountancy to analyse public policy, particularly in issues relating to women. So equal pay was one of her big causes. You go through this fascinating collection of papers. You have letters which are precise, concise, very, very lucid. She argued on terms of facts and first principles. They'd heard the rhetoric. She wanted to break them down by argument. And in many cases, she succeeded.
So she sounds like such a strong and phenomenal woman.
She blazed a trail that other people could follow. It's the power of example. And I think very often that example, particularly if it's made with courage and determination, in the long run has more of an influence on society perhaps than a change in the rules here and a change in the law there. So I for one, am very glad, I think, that her story's been rediscovered.
Talking to Simon, I was overwhelmed by the range of work Ethel had done and was curious to know if she had a family as well. I discovered Ethel did marry and had one son, Richard, himself a prominent intellectual. Sadly, he passed away in 2016, but his wife, Marianne, has kindly agreed to meet me and share some of her memories of Ethel.
Hi, Marianne, I'm Farah.
Hello, Farah.
How
nice to meet you. Yes, do come in, please.
Thank you.
It's so lovely to be here with you, Marianne. Thank you so much for having us. And I wonder if you could take me through some of the memories. So one of the
Shall we start with this
yes,
one, shall we?
Please.
That's obviously when Richard was about 6 months, do you
Yeah,
think?
I think
That's
6
right.
months.
Ethel's looking very smart.
Lovely. And this was on your actual wedding day then?
Yes, that's right.
That's
beautiful.
right.
Yes, that was in 1963.
What was your impression of her, though, as a woman? And
Well, she was highly intellectual and devoted to women's issues, and she was very keen that I should continue with my training to be a doctor. Now, this is taken at an equal pay meeting in Trafalgar Square in 1952, so she was still at it.
Yeah.
There she is at the back, with Richard in front, aged about 16, I think.
One of the most amazing things that I learnt about
Right.
Ethel was around her work for equal pay. She worked over 30 years,
Right.
slowly
Right.
influencing the narrative around this subject.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
interesting, her positioning in this photograph, because what I found really special around learning about Ethel was that she wasn't one of these impassioned
No.
speakers. She
Yeah.
actually was very diplomatic.
Yes.
And her arguments were always based on the foundation of parity.
She didn't make a lot of noise about it, but she was very consistent.
Yes.
Yes.
And sometimes that achieves
Yes.
a
Yes.
lasting result.
Yes.
How do you feel about this whole process? I mean, me coming here
Well, it's a
telling you all
big
these
surprise. It's a huge surprise. And I'm very proud of her. It's made me think about her again. I wish she was here to know that her work was so much appreciated. I wish Richard was here, but he would be very proud too. I'm very pleased that this has occurred.
Thank you so much. I feel impressed by Ethel, filled with a sense of admiration for her professional and personal achievements. I also feel really inspired by Ethel because she did make big changes, but she made them slowly over time. And I may not be able to change the world or break down barriers, but I can still make small changes in my life that can link together with other things to create something bigger and better one day. I feel inspired to be more mindful of the changes that I can make in my life and in the people around me.